We see you have dragged your physical bodies here, but you are so much more than these physical bodies. You are non-physical energy focused within a physical body. And so there are two aspects of you that are converging here, and that convergence will be more often while we are together. It will be more deeply felt by you. And so sometimes what will happen is we will be considering something together, and an idea will occur to you, something that you are wondering about or something that you are already knowing about. And you will again and again feel your point of view become woven into the conversation. Never before have you felt so much a part of a larger whole. And that is the thing that we are most exhilarated about this collective consciousness. You're going to find yourself, maybe for the first time, maybe not. Some of you have been there consciously before, but you're going to find yourself part of a greater consciousness and understanding things that you have not understood so clearly before. Now, it's going to be normal over the days that are before us that sometimes some insight and clarity will come, and you will feel as if everything that you've ever wanted to know is answered. But that's never going to be the case. And the thing that we want to let you know is 5 minutes later, you may not recall what you knew so much just a moment before. And that's all right, because we're just going to loop around again and again and again and again, so that the spiraling upward is going to become more and more and more, because this is not really about you having a question and us giving you an answer. This is really about you discovering what it feels like for you to be in a more consistent way, experiencing the awesome power of non-resistant thought. Now, if you're a normal human, and you are, mostly, you don't spend much time in non-resistant thought because you're here in an environment of contrast. There's so much for you to observe. These are really fast-moving times. There is so much for you to consider, and much of what you are considering is causing you to formulate questions. Much of what you are considering is your data collection. Much of what you are considering are things or experiences that you really don't want in your life experience. But all of that of value. But even while it is of value, much of it still has some resistance within it. And as you are a part of it through your observation or conversation about it, you are resistant in nature too. We call that important step one. We call that the primary reason that you decided to come forth into this physical body, to extend that non-physical consciousness that is you, that is eternally you, into this personality, into this perspective, so that you could lap up this experience, so that you could revel with others, and so that questions could formulate within you, so that new desires could be born out of your leading edge experience. And you knew before you came into this physical body that those questions would be born, and you knew that you would not immediately know the answers. It's only now that you are here in these bodies that you are so impatient about the answers. And what we know is going to take place in this time that we are together is that that impatience is going to subside, because you are going to come to revel in the importance of you allowing a question to sort of evolve within you, to germinate, to become more, to become big enough that it causes you to launch a big desire. Now that's when it really starts being fun, being in your leading edge physical experience, being in this body, in this time, and in this place. Because as the perfection of the contrast that surrounds you is happening within you, you will be continuously, you are already launching these rockets of desire, is our favorite terminology. You might call it requests or intentions, or hopes and dreams. In other words, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And even if you're not speaking it out loud, even if you're not making declarations to the universe about what you want, you are launching these vibrational rockets, and that matters because you are a vibrational being and this is a vibrational universe. And as you launch that rocket, that non-physical part of you that remains non-physical even while you are here in this body, that non-physical cadre of pure positive energy, which is where we are from, which is where we are always, those of us who are here receive your requests and understand them immediately. We know them, we acknowledge them, we focus upon them, and we give them our attention, our awesome attention of non-resistant thought. That's a bigger deal than you know. Because when you hand off one of your requests to your non-physical counterparts and we get hold of it, we never deviate from what you are asking for, even though you do. In fact, you deviate constantly, and that's really your job. You mean to do that. You mean to continue to deviate from it while you are collecting the data and while you are making it clearer and clearer, all of the pieces of what you are wanting. So imagine how this is. So you live a little life and you launch a rocket, and we've got it and we hold it, and then you live more life and you launch another rocket, and we hold the vision of what you are continually throwing our way. And all the while, without you even knowing it, each request that you are launching into this non-physical ether, into this what we are calling your vortex, this vibrational reality, all of these requests are finding one another. The harmonics of it is indescribable. Cooperative components are taking place. And not just the things that you are putting out there vibrationally, but anything that is compatible, anything that cooperates with what you are requesting becomes a part of that mix. And it becomes bigger and brighter and more powerful, and it is yours. It is your creation that you have given birth to, and it remains in a constant state of becoming, not only because you continue to live life and you continue to put forth more requests, but because those of us who are non-physical are tending your garden, who are knowing what you are wanting, are seeing it fully in its becoming, are knowing the vision that you've set forth. In fact, we are knowing the vision that you have set forth in ways that you cannot yet know it. And the reason that we see it more clearly than you do is because we dwell eternally in a state of non-resistant thought. In other words, when you make your death experience, there's no such thing as death. That word is bogus. There's no death. But when you croak, we try to be as disrespectful as we can about what you think is death, because there isn't any. But when you have what you call your death experience, you reemerge into non-physical, you come where we are, and you leave behind all resistance. But you are not ever going to leave behind all resistance while you're here in this physical body. So don't beat up on yourself when you are in a resistant state. That resistance is part of your decisive process. It's part of what helps you to know more clearly what you are wanting. It's all part of the process. It's a wonderful thing. Just don't hang around in an attitude of pushing so hard against what you do not want. Let what you don't want serve you in helping you to identify what you do want. But make a decision to join us more often in focusing upon what you do want. So during the days that are before us, as we are together in this forum, we'll talk about anything that matters to you. And you are going to notice that what matters to you will continue to evolve. We're going to be a little bit persuasive with you, because what matters to us about what matters to you is that we would like you to catch some obvious to you glimpses of what it feels like to be in a moment in time, just a little one, where you know for sure that you are experiencing non-resistant thought. You can't tell right now, but by the end of this voyage, you will know the power of non-resistant thought. You will understand why some things are so easy to some people and some things are so hard to some people. You're going to feel yourself finding a new orientation for this physical life experience. It is our knowing that you are going to be less willing to struggle and sacrifice and be in an attitude of service. You're going to come to know your true power, your true place, why you are really here, the upliftment that you have possible for you. And then, of course, you teach through the clarity of your own example. So as you find these moments in time where you are in a state of non-resistance, and you feel the cooperation of the universe, and you can feel yourself riding that magic carpet, and you can feel things working out for you in ways that perhaps they have never done before. And you can see the astonishment on the faces of those who have been observing you, because they're just not being able to figure out how things are unfolding for you in this way, because you are not doing the things that they've all decided that you need to do in order to thrive. You're not suffering enough for most of them. You're not sacrificing enough. It's way too easy. You're having way too much fun because you have connected to your true power. You come to understand the steps in this creative process, and maybe for the first time while we are together in these days, you will come to know your absolute worthiness. Now, we're not going to get too carried away with that, because your acknowledgement of your value is not something that you find easily. You've practiced for a while feeling unworthy. And so you've got habits of thought. You have beliefs. You hold away good stuff for no good reason. You stand sometimes, often, nearly all the time, in an attitude of wanting to prove yourself to something that is not asking for proof. You stand in a place of wanting to be understood when non-physical understands you in ways that you cannot begin to know. And so we are eager about these hours. We're eager about your evolution. We're eager about your new awarenesses. And most of all, we are eager about you chilling out, taking it easy, not trying too hard to learn anything here. Don't try to learn this. Don't try to use your mind to learn it. Just follow the direction of our thoughts together and join with your non-physical inner being and taste every now and again, it'll happen frequently in these hours that we are together, your connection to the whole of who you are. And as you begin to get a taste for you, the whole of you, focused in a moment in time, where understanding is sublime, you're going to get the hang of this. In fact, it's going to be so obvious to you. Really it is. Don't worry about a thing. It's going to be so obvious to you what it feels like when you are under the influence of your source energy, that whenever you're not, you're going to know it. And a lot of what we want to talk with you about in these days that we're having together is we want you to not beat up on you when you are aware that you are not under the influence of source, because step one matters. We just want you to know what's happening. We want you to know when you're in step one. We want you to know when you are in a resistant state. We want you to always look for the path of least resistance, but we want you to know what the path of least resistance is. We want you to be able to tell whether this thought is more resistant than this thought, and this thought is more resistant than this thought, or this thought is less resistant than this thought, or this thought is less resistant than this thought. Of course, we want you to know that, but we don't want you to struggle too hard on your path of least resistance. Instead, we want to show you how to get out ahead of all of that, how to tune into who you really are, into the awesome power of non-resistant thought, and feel the difference between a thought that you receive from your connection to source energy and a thought that you struggle to maintain. Ooh, you have no idea how smart you are. You have no idea how many skills and tools you have. And most of all, you don't yet have any real sense of the non-physical source energy, this collective consciousness who is aware of the specifics of each of you, who is flowing to you steadily, just what you need, just when you need it. But if you're not in the receptive mode, it's going to bounce off of you, and you're going to continue to wonder why your blessings aren't flowing when they are. You may just not be letting them in.